What is going on, guys? This is Nick here at Y4Turbo, and we are in NHL 16 Be a GM mode with our Edmonton Oilers. If you are new and haven't seen any of the episodes, go check them out, first of all. But we are heading into free agency and going into year 5, I believe. And we had a down year. We had a good year, but we got eliminated in the playoffs in the second round by the rising Dallas Stars. And wow, they were just a really good team. We took them to 7 games, but we just could not complete the comeback, so to speak, and we were eliminated, having won the Stanley Cup the year before. So we were looking to repeat, but it's all good. We had a decent year, and we're looking to come back even stronger next year with a lot of growth on our team. We have a lot of young players, some good veterans too. But I wanted to show you guys some fan art that came in from Great GM Hockey 2.0. Check this out. This is a little bit of the Oilers past and present with Gretzky holding up the Stanley Cup, showing that we can be the Oilers of the past. Those dynasty times for sure. And if Connor McDavid can be the next Gretzky, he's only 2 numbers away on his jersey, right? So possibly a dynasty in the making here. The current leader of the team and the past leader of the team. So thank you so much. And if you guys want to submit your own fan art, please do. You don't have to be a Photoshop wizard. You can do whatever you want, and I would love to see it. Just tweet me at Y4Turbo. Send me an email, y4turbo@gmail.com, or hit me up on Facebook at facebook.com/Y4Turbo. All are welcome. I would love to see it, even if they're ragging on my team. I don't care. That would be fun. So anyway, we are here in free agency, and we actually have a little bit of problem with contracts. So we have like 49 contracts, I think. Let's go into the trade and improve real quick. Yeah, 49. So we gotta make a trade. And the one thing was, a lot of you guys have been calling for this last year. I decided to stick with them, but I think we should get rid of Perron. I really think we should get rid of Perron because I don't think he has room on this team, especially with guys coming up. And if we make some free agency signings at this point, but mostly because we have a very young team that has been growing, and it's outgrown Perron. So it looks like Anaheim wants him, but I don't want to trade. Well, maybe okay, let's see if I just put a draft pick in, because it says they're over the salary cap, but it might be. Why did I go the long way? It might be. Yeah, okay, never mind. So let me find one real quick, and I'll set up a nice trade that we can kind of figure out, and then I'll get back to you guys, and we'll see if it goes through. Okay, so see you guys when the trade's complete. All right, so I'm kind of piling on the picks a little bit heavy because I don't want to get really burned on him, because he is a decent player, but he's making $4 million, and he might drop at the preseason coming up. He's 85 overall. He's already dropped 1 or 2 overall coming to this team. So in the last couple years, we haven't been able to play him on all the lines he should be played on. So I feel like if he drops to an 84 this year, he's still making $4 million or even lower, which would be a nightmare. I don't want that to happen to us. And Vancouver, it says they don't want him, but I feel like it might be a little bit more realistic than sending him to, another place that we could potentially get a better pick, or someone who's way closer to the salary cap, because I feel like they want to give away these late round picks. They don't want to give away this next year's pick. So I might have to take out the 4th. But I do want to they didn't have a second from this year, and they didn't want to give away their second. But I'd like to get something for them, and I don't want to get any contracts in return. We could potentially get an unsigned player or something like that. But let's see if this goes through. I feel like this is a decent trade. I don't think it's super realistic, but I feel like they want to give away these late round or mid to late round picks. If they want to give them away, I'll offer what I got. You know what I mean? So let's see if it works out. Trade accepted. Okay. So a pretty even keel. We believe it will contribute to the success here in Vancouver, so we're accepting that. So We get rid of one contract that was could have been a little messy, maybe if he drops. And Vancouver did not really want him, so to speak. But I feel like he probably fits in the system there. I don't really know what they're going with. They're probably going full rebuild at this point, if they haven't already. They're always in that in-between state. Like, they traded away all these goalies recently, and everybody saw, like, what is Vancouver doing? Anyway, so that is the first trade I want to make. The second trade I want to make looks a bit like this. Now, I don't really want to make it, like, intensely, but I feel like we totally should trade either WiiU or Clefbaum. Now I'm kind of shying away from trading away Clefbaum because he's had a slightly better career than WiiU at a lower overall. Plus, he is in fact pretty good defensively, and he's a two-way defender that fits with most of our team. That's fine. You know, not the best shot, but he's a defenseman, decently hard shot. He's just kind of a big, fast defenseman. Like, he's fast for being 6'3", 210 pounds. Doesn't really have the best body checking and stuff. Doesn't really have the best defensive stats, but he's a good, like, all-around defenseman. Definitely a great top 6 guy. WiiU, on the other hand, he may jump, and that's one of the reasons why I don't really want to trade him away. I mean, it looks like he's better in all categories, but he never gets points. That's a problem. Like, I don't really know. I don't know. You know, maybe we should keep him, because the thing I was thinking of was signing a defenseman to come in, but I'd be really worried putting another defenseman in here that's like a top 4 or better. So maybe that's not a good thing. So maybe we shouldn't do this trade. Let me know, actually, guys. So maybe we could get rid of one of them at the trade deadline and trade up for someone better. Let me know. Because I don't want to be super unrealistic, but at the same time, I don't want to keep being stuck with these guys. Plus, Jones might pop up to be something really good. He's been having a good year down in the AHL the last 2 years. And yeah, look at his slap shot. That's going to be radical. So, yeah, maybe he'll pop up. If not, we'll keep Clefbaum and WiiU for another year. Yeah, I was kind of getting like a sour stomach about it right there. So I'm like, yeah, maybe we'll wait. I want you guys to weigh in, you know. I don't want to do anything rash. So now that we have 2 spots available, we're looking here at the free agents. So Max Pacioretty, obviously, an amazing player. He would be so good. But check this out. All these guys who are first liners here, who everybody was saying, you know, get Hoffman, get Wheeler, get Pacioretty. Like, I understand, like, all these guys are really great, but all 4 of them want at least 6 years, with Wheeler wanting 7. I can't do that, especially at their price. We'll be tethered to them for all these years, and I cannot afford that. Skinner now would be really cool. Skinner was he's always been one of my favorite players. He was drafted in 2010, which is when I graduated, and we're like the same age. I think he's a month older than me. It was just always one of those players that you were like, wow, this guy's doing awesome, and I'm doing nothing with my life. You know what I mean? You always, like, you're looking at Connor McDavid, born in 1997. Oh my God, it's insane. So anyway, Jeff Skinner would be awesome. He's always been one of my favorite players. He's a great sniper, and he would really contribute on that second line. But a lot of you guys brought up the fact that we have a growing team. Patan and Rupert will need time. And, you know, now that we got Perron out of the way, we do have a slight opening. But we have a lot of guys growing down in the AHL that will need NHL time this year. So I think that would be sort of a problem. And, you know, a lot of the guys like Glendening and stuff, those guys are like depth forwards. We can put them down in the AHL to bring them back up. McGinn, stuff like that. Like, McGinn's a good player. He got some goals, remember, in the playoffs. And you guys are saying play McGinn. I understand that. But when you've got guys who's got better defensive awareness and stuff like that, keep the puck out of the net in the bottom 6, they take priority for me. You know, if a guy is scrappy, takes a lot of penalty minutes, gets a goal occasionally, I like that type of player. Like, Darren McCarty's like my favorite player of all time. I like that type of player, but I'd rather have somebody who could shut it down defensively, like Glendening, like Boyd Gordon, stuff like that, who have, you know, the 87 plus defensive awareness. Anyway, Skinner, I want to do it. I just don't think we have room for him. Now, one of the guys I was going to think about was Henrique, putting him potentially on the third line because he only wants 4.7. He's a second line forward, yes, but look at his defensive stats. His 83 faceoffs, 87 defense awareness, and he's got a great shooting category. Now, I understand that bringing in another roster player means that somebody doesn't get time, but if I have to put someone like Glendening down in the AHL, I'm not worried about it if we compare him to Henrique. If we bring up Henrique instead of Glendening, they've got similar faceoffs. I know Glendening's are better, but an 86 for an 81, I'm going to put Glendening down in the AHL if that's the case. Henrique can play on the third or the second line. And some of you guys are saying trade Little. If we want to trade Little, he's not contributing or something like that at the trade deadline, Henrique can come up, play on the second line. And we'll put Henrique on the first line, penalty kill, and potentially the power play because he's got some pretty decent shooting, maybe as a winger. But I think that would be awesome. The only problem with that is it limits Dano's minutes. And a lot of you guys say Dano gets really good and he could be an asset. So maybe we put Dano on the wing? I don't know. But I feel like doing a preemptive signing where it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Let's make sure we grab a forward like Henrique. And if we don't need him, we can trade him. You know, stranger things have happened in the NHL. It's not 100%. Like, you know, it's different than real life. Because in real life, free agency, it's their job. You know, it's the GM's job to sit there and figure it out. 100% of the time, sit there, figure it out, and just for days on end, you know, 8 to 10 hours a day, probably just in the office, and then all day at home thinking about it, going on the phone, talking to other teams, talking to the free agents themselves, and they've got to figure it out. It's a science. We, you know, go through a year in a day or two. So for us, it's very quick. We have to make split-second decisions on what we want to do. So basically what I'm saying is it's a little harder to make these decisions based on these guys. But yeah, I was going to sign somebody like Yandel or Myers. That's why I was thinking about trading away one of the defenders. Because wouldn't that be awesome, like Yandel in the top 4? But then that limits minutes. Yeah, you know, he wants 3 years. He's already 32. I don't know, you know. Whatever. So, okay, I think we will offer Henrique. Let's offer Henrique a contract. Let's offer him $5 million for 3 years. I think that's a great contract for him. And just preemptively, maybe we'll do 5.1 just because Ottawa okay, they're saying 5.3. I won't go up to 5.3, but I'll do 5.2 for 3 years. 5.15. If we don't get him, we don't get him. We'll run with our team. But one of the things you guys were saying was go check out this goalie. There's a really good goalie that you totally glazed over. Where is he? This guy right here. He's 80 overall already, minor starting goalie. He's a fringe starter, so, you know, he'll probably get up to 83, 84, but maybe more, you know. He's only 20 years old, and he's already up to an 80 overall. So this means Pascal can potentially get traded away, which I wouldn't mind trading Pascal for like a 4th rounder or something like that for this coming year. And I think maybe a team that wants him would be somebody who just doesn't have the depth at goaltending that like when we came into Edmonton, you know, we had a 77, 78 overall backup. So somebody like that who could use a good backup, or somebody who could use someone with stability down in the AHL. Like last year, he got our guys all the way to the finals. You know what I mean? He's a great goalie. So he will be mad when we sign this guy, but we need him. Actually, no. We traded away. Okay, we traded away Piranha already. I was thinking that we didn't trade him away. 800,000, 3 years, 2A contract. That'll be nice. So that should take up all of our roster slots for this year. And I'll get to that player meeting in a moment. But let's go to this Saturday when I believe Henrique will be, because, you know, it always takes long for the higher overall guys. So we got the goalie. And we got Henrique. Okay, so now we got to make some decisions based on our current roster. Now, this is something that will... I mean, we've got... Oh, Glendening, what's up? Uh, oh, I'm not happy. Sorry, dude. It was a hard decision. I mean, he's kind of excited, though, so I'm not really worried about it. So we still have a good amount of money left over. So if we do want to grab a player at the trade deadline, I would not be against that. We'd have to trade away a player potentially for contracts. But let's see if we can shop Pascal real quick. I'll do that. We just don't have room for him now, because we've got too many prospects, and he's solidified. As you can see here, he's solidified as an 81. Somebody can use him. So now we have 3 goalies in the 80s. Gillies is going to jump. Booth is going to jump. So they're going to be the NHL guys. This guy, he's probably going to jump maybe a little bit, but he is going to play in the AHL no matter what. Valahariu can play. Ambersaw can play as the backup in the AHL. But Pascal is the odd man out. I don't want to bench him because he's a good player. We can get something out of him. But who would want him? I'll shop around, and then I'll come back to you guys. So see you in 1 second. Okay, so San Jose wants him. And if you guys check this out, I'll show you their goalies right now. So they have Reimer and Jones both in the NHL, which, you know, that's fine. But then the best overall they have down the AHL is a 77. So maybe they're looking for a little bit of a... you know, maybe one of these fringe starters might play, but they're not ready to be a starter in the AHL because they're obviously 71. Like, let's see this guy. He's a other goalie. So, yeah, the computer wants something solid there. So it's a little bit realistic. Now, I tried to get the 5th round as well here. So let's see if that works out because, oops, hit the mic, sorry. They want to give away both of these, and they want Pascal. So I could get a 4th and a 5th out of them. I'm totally happy with that. We clear the contract, and we don't have to bench somebody. We get something useful out of them. And he gets to go and play for a team, which is the most important thing. So let's see if we can get both these picks. If not, we'll just try for the 4th. Rejected. Let's see if we can just get the 4th. Accepted. Okay, so it's pretty even keel. They thought it'd contribute to success. And awesome. So we will have an open slot for a contract. Let's see if... Let's see if there's any decent free agents. I think there was like a left. Oh, look at that. Skinner's still available. I mean, we could go crazy. No, I don't think it's worth it. I think that limiting the time of our young guns just to sign an old vet. Not that he's super old, but you know, we don't want to go crazy here. Was this guy? I think I might have been looking at 22 years old. Top 9 left winger. Oh yeah, with the really hard slap shot. This guy might be kind of cool. So Buckovner, 76 overall. He's a 22-year-old two-way forward left winger. Sven Barchi. Remember when he was like supposed to be like one of the saving graces for Calgary? I miss him on Calgary. I hope he gets his time in the sun. He's a great player. Jerome Buckoffner. Let's let's sign him. I think he'd be cool, and then, you know, a potential trade bait in the future if we don't end up using him. I think though that we might use him down in the AHL. He's already 22. So let's go a couple days, and then we can look at where we're at. We can jump to preseason. So he'll probably let me know on Monday, hopefully. Maybe Wednesday. There we go. He's on the team. Okay, so cool. So we got 2 nice prospects here. Got a good amount of draft picks. Some good depth draft picks for what we gave up. And a really good Adam Henrique who can play on the 3rd line or the 2nd line if we have an injury or something like that. Potentially, Little could also play on the 3rd line if we want to choose one of the 2. You know, they're both decent defensive forwards, so we can choose that. So let me go ahead and get to the next season, and then I will see you guys in a moment. All right, so after a long time, I think these are the lines. Maybe not the exact lines, but some decent lines that we can start to work with. And please let me know if you guys have any suggestions. First line, Eberle is on it this year, just because I don't know. Last year didn't really work with Draisaitl. As you can see, Draisaitl, he's still a right winger, so I just put him down one line, and we put him on the first line power play, I believe. Good defensive awareness and stuff like that. So Maybe we'll move him. I don't know though. I mean, Brian Little, I think, is the better overall center, especially for faceoff. So I think that might be a good idea just to keep it like that. And then the second line here, Rupert, Little, and Draisaitl. Rupert's up at an 86, which is awesome. 86 defensive awareness. So this is a really good, if you see all their defensive awarenesses, really good. And was Rupert always an elite? Because he is an elite now. So he is a third line scoring forward, but we have him on the second line, so he should grow. Third line starts with Patan. He is a third line scoring forward. And it just, his defensive awareness wasn't good. Plus, he is a worse overall player. He didn't grow. So we'll have that third scoring line with Henrique down here. Henrique we put on the first line penalty kill, so that'll work. And then Dano here on the third line as a winger. You know, that should work for now. Fourth line, we put Glenny down here because Slepyshev, we had him up here and we were going to have like that scoring fourth line, but he was still a depth forward and his defensive awareness was like in the 70s. So I was like, you know what? Can't do that for the fourth line. We'll wait one more year. He'll be a third liner. We'll work with him there. And Bracco, I forgot. He jumped like massively, and that's awesome. So he is playing center on the fourth line here. He's a third liner, but I think we put him on the penalty kill. We'll look in a second. Decent face-offs. He's really fast. Look at his acceleration, agility, that kind of stuff. Not very good balance, but he's got a good shot, and he's decent defensively, especially for a playmaker. And then Manberg over here on the right wing. Not the best defensive awareness, but he's really fast. Fast fourth line. It'll be cool. Probably get some depth goals. Here is the defensive positionings. I think this is fine. I mean, maybe Lindholm up to the first line instead of like Nurse, maybe. I don't know. Split up those 87s. I'm not really sure. I want them to go as far as they can, those elites. Then Day got up to an 86, which is awesome. Hopefully he gets some points this year because last year he did not. He doesn't have the best shot. It's really fast, but he doesn't have the best shot. His defensive awareness is out of this world. It's awesome. Hopefully that gets up to a 90 this year. And then WiiU and Clefbaum down on the top 6. Nothing's really changed. Here is our power play. And actually, I think it kind of changed. I think it didn't save. Oh, no, it did because I have Day here. Okay. So I decided to put Draisaitl up here on the first line power play because we moved him down the second line and he'll get upset. And I want to keep him at that 89 or better. Henrique we've got here, so hopefully he'll be holding this down instead of Little. You know, I debate it back and forth, but Henrique has a decent shooting category. Plus, he's got good face-off, so I think he'll be fine. Puck skills are good, and skating's good and stuff. With Eberle and Patan I did here just to get him some minutes. I might throw in, maybe we'll put Little here instead, or somebody of a slightly higher overall. Actually, you know what? We don't even need Patan here because he'll get his minutes on the third line. Maybe we'll put Rupert here instead because we need as many good guys as we can get on this. You know what? I think Patan is probably a better idea. Yeah, I think Patan is better on that line just because of his shooting. His shooting is way better. He's almost like a sniper. Four-man power play looks like this. I could change a little bit. Little's there. Instead of Day, it's WiiU here. Might change that, but WiiU was getting some good points last year. Here's the penalty kill with Henrique up here and Rupert. That's why I think I didn't put Rupert on the power play as well. Not just his shot. He also has good defensive awareness and good skating, so he's fast, two-way forward. Great player. And then Dano down here, he'll get some time with Bracco, who we put here. Just, you know what, I'll switch Rupert and Bracco. That's a good idea. So Bracco gets the very first. He gets the minutes no matter what. He's got good defensive awareness, and he'll get some minutes so he doesn't freak out on the fourth line. Then McDavid and Henrique just to hold it down, just because we don't want those goals going in. Here's the 4-on-4 lines. Pretty self-explanatory here. Just the best players I could find. The 3-on-3 for overtime. I just moved Hall here and then took Clefbaum out of the mix on D. So I think that'll be okay there. Extra attackers, there they are. I didn't actually edit those. Shootout, I did not edit. I'm sure they gave me a great shootout. So here's the biggest thing. Gillies did not jump. Now, I know a lot of people who were like, oh, it sucks that Mrazek left. Now is the time to be like, oh, shoot. Maybe it was a very bad idea to let him leave. And I kind of agree. We could have held on to him for maybe one more year, but both Booth and Gillies, they're NHL level now for roll. So Booth is actually the backup at 85, which that would have been amazing had Gillies jumped to like an 87 or an 88 and Booth had been the backup. We would have not lost a game. It would have been great. I mean, we would have lost a game, but we would have had a good chance at all games with our backup. But Booth, it looks like he'll get the starting job. Gillies will probably be pushed back down, which will kind of suck since he is a starting goalie now. But I'm not going to worry about it too much because if Booth comes out and proves himself, then he's the goalie, you know what I mean? And he'll probably jump up to at least an 86, hopefully throughout this year. We have Lander scratch because he is an exact. He's not down in the AHL anymore. We have him scratched just to come in. He's a good center, so if we need him, he can come in and work it. And no lines is no lines. And I'll just go through the AHL real quick. The reason Slepyshev and Korostelev are here is because they are depth forwards. I could have used either of them up in the NHL, but I decided not to. And then I'll just go through each of these guys. Byron here was not playing; he was scratched, so I put him in because he is one of the best prospects at a top 6 position. Here we go. There you guys are. You see all of that. Here's defense. The one thing I changed was Osterloy or whatever his name was. Came out for who do you call it? Jensen here, who's a top 6 prospect. So everybody here is really good top 6 prospects except for Musil, which is great. I'd like to get one more really good defensive prospect in the mix. And then we don't really need to check out anything else. This is our starter here, Graham Chabawa, and then Valahariu I decided to put in instead of Brissot because apparently he gets pretty good, and you know he's got decent potential anyway, so hopefully he gets up there. McGinn and Morose are scratched as kind of the big guys that are scratched. Kind of sucks because I did want to play McGinn, but I don't really know where we could put him. We could put him in to help out like on the 2nd or 3rd line in the AHL, but he might have some words for me because he did drop to 79. So, but his shooting category as a grinder is pretty good. So I might have to put him in at some point. So yeah. Anyway, those are the lines, and I think other than that, actually, let's see if we can. Did we name our captains already? It gave McRae, Korostelev, and who else? Did it give anybody else any? Oh no, we have to assign a captain. So who should be the captain? Oh, I didn't think I had to do this on the spot. Maybe this year it can be Slepyshev. Yeah, because Korostelev is already an assistant. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do Slepyshev. He's been here the whole time, so he is the captain. I should have probably looked at... Actually, yeah, let's look at morale real quick. Oh, shoot. Now I have to assign a captain. Okay, well, there you go, Slepyshev. You get it. You get the captain card there. Can I switch to... No, I have to go all the way back to switch to Edmonton, of course. There we go. Let's see if it made our captains anybody weird. Little McDavid and Hall. I guess that's fine. Because McDavid and Hall, I know for sure are leaders. And, yeah, I think we're going to be okay with that. Little should be good on that 2nd line. All forwards, though, which I don't really like, but that's okay. And, all right, cool. Now, I don't remember if I said I was going to do anything in this video. We made a lot of trades. We signed some good players. And mostly I just want you guys to let me know what we should do in the next video. And I will have to apologize right now. I am going to Chicago. I'm moving to Chicago. You know, it's tentative. You know what I mean? I'm going there for a job interview. And, I mean, it looks really good. Everything looks great. I'm looking at apartments this weekend and doing my interview. And, you know, so I'm not going to be making videos. So I've made a few in advance. So a lot will be kind of, you know, not really time sensitive things. But still, please let me know. I'll always be on my phone. I will have my laptop with me. So, you know, worst comes to worst, I can post something. But I will respond to comments. I will take in feedback. And then we'll start fresh next week with brand new stuff that's hot off the press just from your guys' suggestions. So it might take a few days to get to the suggestions since things will already have been made. But trust me, I am listening, and I will do things that you guys tell me. Because obviously this channel runs mostly just from your guys' advice. You know, half the time I don't even know what to do, and you guys just totally pull me out of the water. One thing I am worried about for the Oilers is goaltending. So is that something we potentially check on? Like, let me see if there are any free agent goalies. Like, not that we'd sign any, because I don't think we actually have room. Oh, look at that. Turris is still available. And look at this guy. This top 4 defenseman, unrestricted free agent. He's 25, so he'll have this year and next year. We could potentially sign him. But let's see if there is a goalie available that is pretty decent. Oh! Let me know, guys. Let me know if we pick him back up. I don't know if... That sucks that he didn't get picked up by a team. We will overpay him. You know, that's the one thing that I was I was upset we had to drop him, but if it means that this year we don't have a goalie, like, do we do that? Or do we just say screw it and run with the guys we got? You know, it works for the Sharks. Do we just do what they do and potentially stack up at the trade deadline when we're going into the playoffs with, like, one more hot gun, like potentially a defenseman, like a really good defenseman, like trade away WiiU and Clefbaum plus a first-round pick for, like, a stud. Like someone said, like Oliver Ekman-Larsson, like Brent Burns, like somebody like crazy that could really anchor this team in the playoffs. And then we bring up a prospect defender who's like an 80 overall for the top 6. But then we have, a 90 plus in the lineup, or a late 80 at least. So, I'm not really for getting Mrazek back, but at the same time, I'm a little scared about goaltending. I'm afraid we might lose some winnable games with them. So please let me know what you guys think. I think today was pretty successful. We're kind of changing the branding of the team a bit, but I think we do have a very solid team. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new. We've had a ton of support lately. You guys can see there's tons of quality content on this channel, and your voices are always heard here at Y4Turbo. So leave a like if you want to see the next episode, and hit that subscribe button if you're new. We will see you next time out on the ice.